Vijaya Mamamuncha Lokam Vimashitaheyataya Purashat
Krishnangri Sevam Adimanyamana
Krishnangri Sevam Harimanyamana
Upadishat Prayam Namatyamadyam
Upadishat Prayam Madhyanaryam
Ato
Ato
thus Vihaya
Vihaya
giving up
Imam
this
Amum
and the next
Chat
also
Lokam
planets
Vimarsitao
all of them being judged Ayataya because of inferiority Parastat herein before Krishna Angri the lotus feet of the Lord Shri Krishna Sevam transcendental loving service Adimanyamana one who thinks of the greatest of all achievements Upavishat sat down firmly Prayam for fasting Amarchanajam on the bank of the transcendental river, the Ganges or the Yamuna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Marat Prigat sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganges to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness, rejecting all other practices of self-realization, because the transcendental loving service to Krishna is the greatest achievement, superseding all other methods. Report.
I read this verse yesterday, Prabhu.
You sure?
Yeah.
No, we'll read it again. What was it? Prabhupada said that when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur went somewhere, I think it was Vrindavan, they thought they was gonna talk about this big acharya was gonna talk about the intimacy. And he spoke on I think the first verse in the Bhagavatam for 2 months or something. Okay. Perfect. For a devotee like Maharaj Pariksit, none of the material planets, even the topmost Brahmaloka, is as desirable as Goloka Vrindavan. The abode of Lord Krishna. The primeval Lord and original personality of Godhead. This earth is one of the innumerable planets, material planets within the universe. And there are innumerable universes also within the compass of the Mahatattva. The devotees are told by the Lord and his representatives, the spiritual master of the Acharyas, that not one of the planets within all the innumerable universes is suitable for residential purposes of a devotee. The devotee always desires to go back home, back to God, just to become one of the associates of the Lord in the capacity of servitorship, friendship, parental or conjugal love. Excuse me. The devotee always desires to go back to Godhead just to become one of the associates of the Lord in the capacity of servitorship, friendship, parental or conjugal lover of the Lord, either in one of the innumerable Vaikuntha planets or in Goloka Vrindavan, the planet of Lord Shri Krishna. All these planets are eternally situated in the spiritual sky, the Paravyoma, which is on the other side of the causal ocean within the Mahatattva. Maharaj Pariksit was already aware of this information due to the accumulated piety and birth in a higher family of devotees, Vaishnavas, and thus he was not at all interested in the material planets. Modern scientists are very eager to reach the moon by material arrangements, but they cannot conceive of the highest planet of this universe. But a devotee like Mars Bricket does not care a fig for the moon or, for that matter, any of the other planets. So when he was assured of his death on a fixed date, he became more determined in the transformative service of Lord Krishna by complete fasting on the fasting on the bank of the transcendental river Yamuna, which flows down by the capital of Hastinapur, the state of Delhi. Both the Ganges and the Yamuna are Amritya, transcendental rivers, and the Yamuna is still more sanctified for the following reasons. Actually, I will go on. We'll go on to the next verse. The river Ganges, since I prepared for that. The river Ganges by which the king sat to fast carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore that water sanctifies the three worlds inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river. Interesting. There's a hint. Getting ready to leave our body. Prabhupada said, do as I do. He left his body where?
In
Vrindavan, close to the Yamuna. Purport. Maj Pricket, just after receiving the news of his death within 7 days, at once retired from family life and shifted himself to the sacred bank of the Yamuna River. Generally, it is said that the king took shelter of the bank of the Ganges, but according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the king took shelter of the bank of the Yamuna. Srila Jiva Goswami's statement appears to be more accurate because of the geographical situation. Maj Pricket resided in his capital Hastinapur, situated near the present Delhi, and the river Yamuna flows down past the city. Naturally, the king would take shelter of the river Yamuna because she was flowing past his palace door. And as far as sanctity is concerned, the river Yamuna is more directly connected with Lord Krishna than the Ganges. The Lord sanctified the river Yamuna from the beginning of his transcendental pastimes in the world. While his father Vasudeva was crossing the Yamuna with the baby Lord Krishna for a safe place at Gokula on the other bank of the river from Mathura, the Lord fell down in the river, and by the dust of his lotus feet, the river at once became sanctified. It is especially mentioned herein that Mars Brigade took shelter of that particular river, which is beautifully flowing. At least it was. Now it's considered a dead river. You know what a dead river is? A dead river means there's nothing living in it. It's so polluted because these businesses, they pour so much chemicals and stuff. It's horrible. But I was speaking to Dina Bandhu this last festival in Vrindavan. And we were talking about it, and he said, no, it's the river Yamuna is there. Whatever water touches the dust of Vrindavan, that's Yamuna. So although it's so polluted, still it's touching the dust of Vrindavan. So it's still the Yamuna, although nothing is living in it now. Right? It is especially mentioned herein that Maj Cricket took shelter of that particular river, which is beautifully flowing, carrying the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So that's what makes it sanctified. The dust of the lotus feet of Krishna, mixed with the tulsi leaves. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with tulsi leaves, and thus, as soon as his lotus feet contact the water of the Ganges and Yamuna, the river becomes at once sanctified. The Lord, however, contacted the river Yamuna more than the Ganges. According to the Varaha Purana, as quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is no difference between the water of the Ganges and the Jamuna, but when the water of the Ganges is sanctified 100 times, it is called the Jamuna. Similarly, it is said in the scriptures that 1,000 names of Vishnu are equal to one name of Ram, and 3 names of Ram are equal to one name of Krishna. Om Jnana-tamanandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukram Protavachalam Pramam Hayate Gurim Yakripataraham Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhuke Vachampatitanam Bhavanyo Vaishnavi Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So as we're hearing, the river Yamuna is more sanctified because many, many pastimes took place in the Yamuna. Of course, as Prabhupada said, we're not hearing near the amount of pastimes that actually took place in Vrindavan. As it is said that Krishna was daily killing a demon, but how many demons did Krishna kill, according to Krishna book? Maybe
2. In Vrindavan, I think it's 32.
32.
Something like that.
Yeah. But Prabhupada said daily, so we're not getting the full pastimes. But we do have some. It's like in the Jamuna, there's the most famous pastime in relation to the Jamuna was when the cowherd boys were on the banks of the Jamuna, and they drank some of the water, and it was poisoned, and by the Kaliya serpent, and they became unconscious, practically dead. And it's described that the poisonous vapor was so poisonous that the birds flying over, they would die. Imagine. So Krishna, he went on a kadamba. Anybody ever seen a kadamba tree?
Yes.
Yeah. In Australia, in New Govardhan, they have this huge kadamba tree, and the flowers are so fragrant. They're golden, and they have these when they ripen, they have these little white flowers come up, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya would go into ecstasy, and it described that his body would erupt like kadamba flower. So this tree is so beautiful, and when it's the most fragrant. When it's blooming, oh God, the fragrance is just like. And they want to build a temple there nearby, or they want to. Ajita, he's the president. They want to build the temple right there where the tree is.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you try to cut down that tree, I'm gonna chain myself to the tree. So you can't cut it. Sometimes they do that. Tree lovers, yeah. It's a really nice tree. So Krishna, he got on this kadamba tree, and he jumped into the Jamuna, and it's described that the Jamuna water overflowed for 100 yards. That's like a football field. So Krishna's got a heavy dive in there. So he went in there, and Kaliya immediately he could hear Krishna, and yet someone's trying to take my area here. So he became angry. When he saw Krishna, it's described that he is very attractive. He's very beautiful. But anyway, I got to stop this guy. So even the demons, they were appreciating the beauty of Krishna. So Kaliya had about 100 heads, and he was trying to bite Krishna. And Krishna, he's very agile. Anyway, he was able to catch him. He caught Krishna in his coils. For how long? How long was he in the coils of Kaliya?
2 hours.
2 hours. And the cowherd boys, they were pretty upset about this. And there was bad omens. It's described that in Vrindavan, the earth started to shake. It was like an earthquake, and there was meteors falling. And the men, their left side was quivering. So there's many bad omens. And then they heard that Krishna had gone pasturing cows, but without Balaram. And thought, oh no, this is not good. Because Balaram, big brother. So they all went to the Jamuna, and they were following the footsteps of Krishna. They could see the footprints of Krishna because no one would step on the footprint, because the footprint of Krishna is sacred. They followed. And when the residents of Vrindavan got to the river Jamuna and saw Krishna captured by this snake, they were just like devastated. They were started to go in, like Yamuna and others, like Yasoda went in and others went in. And Balaram said, no, it's okay. Everybody's big anxiety, but what's Balaram doing? Smiling. It's okay. You'll be okay. Because Balaram knew the greatness of Krishna. So then after some time, Krishna seen that there was so much anxiety in the residents, he freed himself. And how did he free himself? Anybody remember? He expanded himself. He just expanded himself. And Kaliya was trying to keep him, but Krishna this is also how he killed some of the demons. Aghasura, he just expanded himself so he couldn't breathe. And who was the other one? No.
Srimad increased his weight.
The horse.
Yeah.
Keshi, he put his fist in and he expanded. He couldn't breathe. Also. So this is how he freed. And then what did he do? He started dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives a description of different qualities that some of these demons had. Anybody remember the quality of Kaliya? Pride. He was very proud. He had all these hoods. And he could do anything. But Krishna, he very much humbled him. Dancing on his hood, and it's described by the acharyas that Krishna had rasa dance. Some of the gopis were also having rasa dance on the hoods. They were having a little rasa dance there on the hoods of Kaliya. So that was extremely humbling to Kaliya, and eventually Kaliya's wives came and started offering prayers to Krishna. They were devotees. It's amazing that they were pure devotees, but Kaliya was such a rascal. Sometimes it happens. Although Krishna says that the women are less intelligent, but sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes it happens that the women are more intelligent. So such is the case here also. And eventually he also started offering prayers upon seeing the sincerity of his wives and how he had been defeated by Krishna. So he was saved by the mercy of his wives. So then Krishna said, now you leave and don't come back again. Anybody know where he went? Anybody know?
Near Fiji Island.
Fiji. Yeah. And the deity there is called Kaliya Krishna. And when I was there, I've been there a few times actually, and devotees say that if anybody goes in the area where they say Kaliya is, apparently something horrible happens. So there's still, I don't know if he's still there, but it's said that Ashwatthama, he's still in the Himalayas, suffering because of his atrocious activities. So that was Kaliya. Another pastime that happened on the in regard to the Jamuna is that all the gopis, they wanted to marry Krishna. So they were offering prayers and worshipping Katyayani to have Krishna as their husband. So one time they went to the Jamuna, and the way they would bathe is all the girls, they would go to a particular area where only the girls go, and they would bathe naked. That's for the ladies. So Krishna went there, their clothes were on the bank, so Krishna took their clothes and he went up in the tree. And he said, now girls, I want you to come and get your clothes one at a time. Because it's said that only a husband sees a lady naked. So by this activity, Krishna is letting them know that I'll be your husband. So of course they were complaining, come on, Krishna, you can't do this. Come on, it's cold here. We're going to complain to the king. Come on, you can't do this. Krishna doesn't care for a king. So they said, if you want your clothes, come. And they shyly came out, and Krishna did. How did Krishna marry all the girls? That amazing Leela where Brahma took the cowherd boys and the calves. And Krishna, he expanded himself to all the cowherd boys perfectly. And at that time, it was time for the girls to get married, so they married these boys, which were actually Krishna. Yeah. So in this way, he married these girls. And there's another instance in regard to the Yamuna, where Nandamars and some of the other men, they were there at the bank of the Ganges. And Nandamars, he went in to bathe in the Yamuna, but he went in at the wrong time, and therefore, what's the name of the Varuna Dev, or his assistants? They captured him because he went in at the wrong time, a little too early. So imagine, the men are there on the bank of the Ganges. Nanda just went in there to bathe, and now he's gone. And the men were like worried. They started, what do the devotees do whenever there's some trouble? They call out to Krishna. So Krishna came and he understood. So him and Balaram, they dove in. And now Krishna's in the Jamuna with Balaram, and they're also not coming up. I mean, how long can you hold your breath? Anybody? I checked it out. The world record now is 22 minutes. Imagine that. Some guy from Denmark, PhD in breathing. Seriously. Breathology. So, but actually there's a person, what's his name? What's the Muni's name? He was in the water for 10,000 years. Sobhara Muni. 10,000 years, he's got the record. Try to beat that one. Then he committed an offense to Garuda. And he fell down. That's a whole other story. So Krishna, he went down and he saw Varuna Dev and said that you have my father. It's not good. He said, oh, this all happened just so we can get your darshan. So they let him go. I mean, I don't know how Nandamar was able to hold his breath for so long. They're in the water. Kind of inconceivable. So they were all happy to have him back. I wanted to say something also about this this pastime of Krishna taking the clothes of the gopis. This is one of the ways that the Christians, they get people to go to Christianity. That they criticize that Krishna he stole the clothes of the gopis, and what kind of a god is this? But everyone, Prabhupada would mention that everyone is part of Krishna. All the women are actually parts of Krishna, belong to Krishna. So how could he be immoral? How could he be immoral? And actually it was the girls that wanted Krishna as their husband. So Krishna just made the arrangement. He's not interested in seeing some naked women. He's Atmaram, he's self-satisfied. He doesn't need that. It's like there was that instance where Krishna was fighting with Banasura, and Banasura's mother came to distract him. She came naked. And Krishna just mentioned that he just turned his face away. He didn't want to see this naked woman. But it worked. Banasura was distracted. Banasura was able to get away. And it's interesting that he was a devotee of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva decided to help Banasura. So he brought the Shiva Dvara to defeat Krishna. But what did Krishna bring forth? The Vishnu Dvara. So the Shiva Dvara is very, very hot. And the Vishnu Dvara is very cold. So it's so cold that the Shiva Dvara was defeated and started offering prayers to Krishna. And then, of course, Lord Shiva offered prayers to Krishna as well. So Lord Shiva prayed that he allow Banasura to live because he had blessed him to be without fear, Banasura. So Krishna accepted the prayers of Lord Shiva, and that Banasura could live without fear. Actually, he had a lot of arms. He had about 1,000 arms. Krishna cut them all off except for 4. And Krishna said, "I'll leave him with 4." Okay. But he was very humbled also. So that's when all these demons, they come. The demons that do live, they come out very humbled. Yeah. And even some of the devotees that tested Krishna, like Indra, he had some pride there, and he also was humbled. Lord Brahma also kind of tested Krishna. He was also humble. So Krishna does this. He humbles his devotee. It's like on book distribution. We get humbled a lot of time. sometimes a little difficult, so it's good. So when we are engaged in devotional service to Krishna, then he has a nice way of humbling his devotees, helping us understand that Krishna is great and we're small. And this is this is the result of practicing Krishna consciousness, that we develop this humility. It's so important. It's like there's so many devotees that like Krishna was so pleased with Sudama and Lord Chaitanya's pastime, Sanatan Goswami. These devotees are so humble and it's very pleasing to Krishna. So this humility comes about by hearing. If we hear nicely, then we'll understand the greatness of Krishna. But if we don't hear nicely, then it'll be difficult to understand how great Krishna is. Like I know of devotees that they don't hear very much, and therefore their practice of Krishna consciousness is not on the level that is pleasing to Krishna. So we want to please Krishna, and this Shravanam is so important. Hearing attentively, hearing our japa attentively, hearing the message that Krishna has given to us attentively. It's like sometimes you might be read a whole page and nothing went in. You ever had that experience? You read a whole page and you're thinking of something else.
Yes.
It's terrible. Just like in japa, sometimes we're chanting and you chant, 5 minutes and you're just thinking of something else. This is the mind. Krishna says the mind can be the friend or the enemy. Sometimes we're walking around with our enemy, the mind. So we're trying to make the mind our friends. And that comes by practicing Krishna consciousness very seriously and sincerely. In Krishna, he reveals himself. Nata Shri Krishna Namami, Nama Vedvana, Sevan Mukhi Jiva, Swayam Evasva. That Krishna can't be understood with our blunt material senses. But when Krishna becomes pleased with us by our devotional service, then he reveals himself. So this is what gradually happens if we try sincerely. So I'll stop there. Is there any question, comment? Or
Krishna Guru, thank you for the nice class. I like all the different pastimes we collected from Krishna Guru. It's so nice to hear them in relation to Yamuna. Also, you mentioned that Krishna is self-satisfied. He doesn't need anyone else or anything or any object or any person to become satisfied. So Krishna says in 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that even he doesn't need anything. He doesn't need anything to achieve something to be happy, but still he's engaged in his duty towards the people. So just to set the right example, Arjuna should fight.
oh,
So I was just thinking of that verse from Bhagavad Gita that he is not in need of anything. He doesn't lack anything. But for his own enjoyment, his own sweet will, he's engaged in these pastimes.
yeah, to attract us. Just like Hawaii, 100 years ago, nobody ever heard of Hawaii. Right? Then America rudely went in there and stole it, basically. And they advertised. And now millions of people go there every year because of advertising. So Krishna comes here and he lets people know about this wonderful pastime. It's advertising. Krishna's advertising. And now, millions of people are attracted to Krishna because of his amazing pastimes, because of the amazing philosophy that he leads with us. So yeah, it's good advertising, attracting us to the spiritual world. Just like all of us, we want to go back to the spiritual world because we've heard. No anxiety. You just dance. No one walks. Everybody dances. Nobody talks. Everybody's singing. And that alone, that's pretty attractive. Chintamani gems and kapariksha trees, and devotees, all the devotees, and Krishna is there. They're very attractive. So we've been attracted and we want to attract more and more. Because this, as Prabhupada said, people that are absorbed in material life and they're just rotting. He said they're just rotting in this. He said this whirlpool of material existence, rotting in the whirlpool of material existence. Interesting statement. So we want to become free. And Prabhupada, I was just reading, Prabhupada said, when we take seriously Krishna consciousness, we become as free as the Supreme Lord. We become free of the modes of material nature. It's like people want freedom. It's very common. People want to be free. The freedom movement. But as long as we're under the modes of nature, we're not free. It appears like they're free. They're not in prison. But actually everybody is imprisoned by the modes of nature. It's like there's some people that have gone to prison and read Prabhupada's books, and then they send letters to the prison ministry that I feel more free now than I did when I was outside of the prison. Because now they're getting liberated from the modes of nature. Imagine. They become more free in prison. Just like Maharaj was telling the story of that devotee in prison in Arizona, his disciple now. What's his name?
Balavan Nitai.
Balavan Nitai. And he's so happy. He's got life in prison for the rest, he can't get out. There's no parole. I asked Maharaj, how did he get in for life? He was a racist. And he used to just kill people that were of another color. Killed a few people. So not possible for him to get out. But somehow he got a book. And now he's so happy. He's distributing so many Bhagavad Gitas in prison. And he's so happy. And people are surprised. Why are you so happy? And that gives reason to tell them why. He gives them a Bhagavad Gita. So he's more free now. Imagine the consciousness of someone just because they were another race, I'll kill them. Imagine that. Can't get much lower than that. But then he goes to prison and he reads Bhagavad Gita. He said, oh, this is the consciousness that I should have. And now he has that consciousness. Amazing. This is the miracle of Krishna consciousness. Amazing. Someone of such low consciousness can come to such a high consciousness. It's wonderful. So that's what we're advertising. We're also advertisers. We're Krishna's representatives, part of this team. Krishna's family business. Part with the family, helping advertisement, Krishna company. Krishna and company. Anything else? Srila Prabhupada.